Most people hear a city on Mars and think, cool idea, but probably impossible. But if you're wired for high performance, you hear something different. You hear a systems problem. Because a Mars city isn't about one heroic rocket launch. It's about building the most demanding supply chain in human history, where every failure is expensive, public, and potentially fatal. And that's why this topic matters. Not because you'll be living on Mars next year, but because the mindset required to build it is the exact same mindset that builds empires here on Earth. Infrastructure, redundancy, and relentless execution under extreme constraints. The real question isn't, can we go to Mars? We've already sent rovers. The real question is, can we stay? A quick visit is a stunt. A settlement is an operating system. To stay, you need 5 pillars. Transport that scales, energy that doesn't fail, life support that's boringly reliable, local manufacturing, and a social structure that keeps people functioning. If even one of those pillars is weak, your city is just a fragile outpost, constantly waiting for a rescue mission. So let's break it down like a founder would. First, transport. In the brutal environment of space, frequency beats perfection. If your entire plan hangs on one perfect launch every few years, you've already lost. The winning approach is the same one used in modern logistics. A high cadence of launches, standardized hardware, and a repeatable process. That's why a fully reusable heavy lift rocket system is the centerpiece. It is not about the aesthetics of a big rocket. It is about turning spaceflight from a miracle into a schedule. And once you can put heavy cargo into orbit regularly, you unlock the next critical step. That next step is orbital refueling. Think of Earth's gravity as a tax. The heavier your payload, the more you pay to escape it. So the smarter strategy is to launch in parts, assemble your capability in orbit, and then refuel there before heading to Mars. It's a CEO move. It's not glamorous, but it's how you scale an operation. Without orbital refueling, Mars is mostly a fantasy because you can't bring enough mass to build anything meaningful. With it, the bottleneck shifts from can we launch to can we operate, which is exactly where serious projects live. Now for energy, the first real asset on Mars, here's a hard truth. On Mars, energy is currency. No energy means no oxygen, no heat, no water processing, and no food production. Your life support system isn't just one thing. It's a stack of devices that all demand power. So the first major cargo shipments won't be luxuries. They will be power infrastructure, massive solar arrays, battery storage, and robust backup systems. And because Martian dust storms and extreme cold are a constant threat, this energy system has to be designed for resilience, not just average conditions. This is where high achievers recognize the pattern. The difference between amateurs and operators is redundancy. Next, let's make survival boring. On Earth, you can make mistakes and still live. On Mars, your mistakes show up as suffocation, freezing, or dehydration. So life support isn't a gadget, it's a chain of systems. Air management, water recycling, temperature control, medical facilities, and strict maintenance routines with plenty of spare parts. The key word here is boring. The most elite, high-performance systems are the ones you stop thinking about. When survival becomes routine, people can finally start to build. This brings us to local production. The moment a base becomes a city. A Mars settlement that needs constant shipments from Earth isn't a city. It's a dependency. A true Martian city begins the day it can produce essentials locally, making oxygen from the atmosphere, extracting water from ice, producing its own rocket fuel, and manufacturing basic tools and habitat components. This is the turning point. On Earth, we call this supply chain independence. On Mars, it's the difference between temporary and permanent. This phase will look less like science fiction and more like industrial design. Robotics, automated maintenance, modular habitats, and 3D printing with strict quality control. Not romantic, just serious execution. Finally, we have the human layer, the part people often avoid talking about. Even if you solve all the engineering, you still have to manage humans. A settlement needs rigorous selection standards, a clear hierarchy, methods for conflict resolution, and robust mental health support. A culture that values competence over ego is non-negotiable. Isolation doesn't just test your technology, it tests your identity. That is why this idea attracts a certain type of person. Someone who wants to be part of something historic, difficult, and prestigious. But prestige alone won't keep a settlement alive. Only disciplined systems and clear incentives will. So is all of this actually planned? As a vision, yes. As a guaranteed timeline, no. The direction is clear. Build reusable transport, scale up operations, and push toward Mars capability. But a city on Mars won't happen with a single announcement. It's a decade-spanning marathon of execution. And personally, I respect the ambition for one simple reason. It forces us to think in systems again. Whether or not a city on Mars happens soon, the real lesson is already here and incredibly useful. Big outcomes come from small, repeatable processes done at scale. That's not space talk. That's elite performance. Dreaming is common. Execution is rare. And Mars? Mars will belong to the people who can build systems that don't break. If you want more deep dives into future tech through a high-performance lens, make sure to follow. Thanks for watching.